Okay, we're going to be looking at something called condensation and hydrolysis reactions. You've heard of the word condensation before, and condensation is what shows up on the outside of your Coca-Cola can after you take it out of the freezer and you set it out on the table, and then all this water appears and it makes a little mark on the table. Well, condensation, kind of formation of water, you could think of, and in joining smaller molecules together to form larger molecules, the same thing actually happens. So we're going to use this and understand what we're talking about here. We're talking about a condensation reaction. So to understand this, we're going to use an amino acid as an example. So let me draw an amino acid over here. I know that nitrogen makes 3 bonds, carbon makes 4, and there's an acid at the end here. So C double bond OH, there's an H, there's an H, there's an H, and this is an R group. It could be one of 20 different combinations for the 20 different amino acids. Well, what happens here is if I take these two, so if this is consider this one single block, that's an amino acid. I'm going to draw another amino acid next to it. So same process here. H, 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 and then an R group. Well, how do I join these? Well, the hint is in the word condensation reactions. When I see condensation, I'm thinking water is going to get formed. So I'm going to put a water molecule over here. Well, how can I pull off a water molecule from these two and in the process combine them, join them together? Well, if you take a look, let me switch a color. If you take a look right around here, you end up, there's 2 H's and an O, and that comes off and that forms your water molecule over here. And so what we're left with is this combined. So let's see if we can draw this. It might be tight on space a little bit here. CrCH, and then we get a C that's going to combine with the next nitrogen, CCOOH. So just refer back to what's on the left there. I gotta make sure the number of bonds is actually correct. So this C has 2 bonds, it needs another 2, and it's actually this remaining double bond oxygen here. And the nitrogen needs 1 more bond. I'll put it facing downwards just to stick with the idea that bonds are negatively charged and they like to repel each other away. So we end up with this situation. So this is actually a dipeptide, you could call it. So 2 amino acids have joined together and produced a water molecule in the process. A condensation reaction involves the joining of 2 molecules to form a larger molecule. And I'm going to label in green here, this bond that is formed between these 2 amino acids is called a peptide bond. Peptide bond. This happens with other things as well. 2 monosaccharides joining up to form a disaccharide is also called a condensation reaction, and a water molecule forms. Forming lipids from glycerol and fatty acids. Let me show you that really quick. So here I have a glycerol molecule, OOO glycerol molecule. Here I have a fatty acid. Here's another fatty acid and another fatty acid. Well, check this out. If this comes over here and gets close, this comes over here, this comes over here. Take a look, and I've got a pre-prepared circle. That's a water molecule that can actually come off there. That's a water molecule that can come off, and that's a water molecule that can come off. And when that actually comes off, you create a bond here, and I don't have a full completed product here to show you, but you get the idea. The bond can join up, and then we end up with, this would pretty much be what a lipid molecule looks like when glycerol and 3 fatty acids combine. So how do we break them apart once we've combined them? Well, that's the opposite. That's called a hydrolysis reaction. And rather than drawing everything and showing it backwards, it's just a reverse. So this arrow here at the top is showing a condensation reaction, and this arrow here at the bottom is showing a hydrolysis reaction. In other words, just add water. So I'm going to give just 3 word equations here. Pretty easy. So in general, if you take polypeptides or dipeptides and you add water, you break them down into amino acids. So let's say polypeptides. That just means more than one of these things. You could have a whole chain of 100 of these connected together. If water is included in there, then that's a hydrolysis reaction. You can break them down to their individual amino acids. If we have carbohydrates, or we could say polysaccharides. Carbohydrates or polysaccharides, numerous saccharides, add water. You can break them down into monosaccharides or disaccharides. It all depends on the size of the unit that you're looking at there. And finally, if we have lipids, this is the situation we had here. If this was all actually connected together as one lipid, if we added water into it, water molecule to each of these, we could actually separate it out into glycerol and fatty acids. Sorry for the space problem there. Okay, in so many words, that's pretty much what a condensation and hydrolysis reaction are. It's important for all the macromolecules. It's one of the main ways that large molecules can get formed and can get broken down based on what you're looking at there. So make sure you are able to actually do a full example using amino acids to show how two amino acids can form into a dipeptide using all the information that is here. Make sure the number of bonds is correct. You don't want to make a mistake with all of that. Okay, if you have any questions, please post them. All right, thank you very much.